Hello and welcome to another episode of Rough Cuts. Hi, we couldn't resist that temptation.
Yes.
But I do have a couple questions, so I was going to make a video as that seems to be maybe the easiest way to do that at this point. So I have two issues in GitHub that you might have seen: the responsive hero image and the centering sub content. Those are, I think I added to that one, so I don't know if you've seen the latest on that. But I was working on the hero image because previously you had made a video, so full circle, about my old project and the different ways that I could handle this, and they all had to do with assuming that the width was going to be 1200 pixels. So I was running into some problems with this being just the whole thing, because it's really gritty for one thing, which I kind of expected just because my computer is so large. It gets better as you go down. But I was having a hard time getting the image to go all the way up, so it's just super large like this. More than it needs to be. So I'm not exactly sure how to address that. So I was doing some research and I ran into this website, and they have this nice little watercolor thing going on, and their settings, and this was based off of a CSS tricks things. So those are always hit or miss in my opinion. But in this instance, they had what I was looking for, and I can see that theirs is blown up a little bit too, but I noticed a couple weird things where they have their background repeat. Once I find it, okay, it's the thing called no hero, which is the hero image, which is cool. That they have their repeat on the x-axis, and I'm not seeing any tiling. It just looks like it's upscaling, so I'm not sure. Like when I tried that, it just tiled and didn't look good, but this is like actually stretching the image, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing different there. And then also they're using position top, which is interesting to me, and as I scroll it doesn't stay in the top, whereas when I tried that, mine would stay in the top. So I also noticed that they did that probably to remove some of the tiling issues. But the other weird thing that I'm having is this weird like parallax feature, and I'm not sure why that is. It's a nice little bonus, maybe I could look at it that way, but it's kind of weird. So I'm not sure the best way to do this. I was playing around with some viewport things, but when you're Googling, you can only tell so far what's the best web practice for that, because CSS Tricks thinks it's the hottest stuff since Flexboxes. So anyway, maybe just some clarification on like what the best way to do a full screen responsive hero image would be. The other thing that I do have in there is, can actually look at my code, is different media queries. I just replaced the background image with a smaller one, which seemed to be the answer. I know you sent me that article for responsive images, and that seemed to be just for the HTML side of things, and in that article he was saying like, in CSS you would do it differently, and this is what I came across, so maybe that's the best way to do it, maybe it's not, but that seems to be working at least. The other thing is some of the other options that I have, such as excuse my voice, is, let's see, oh, that's not mine, there we go. Okay, so if we did like, let's see, I'm trying to remember now what I was doing. I think I was following these instructions over here from yours. Yeah, there was a couple options with like the background size. When like I would use contain, I think it was, we can test that theory, I'd get like this really big white space at the top, and it was containing my header text, which is why I think I did what I did in my old project, and I could already tell it wasn't right. So let's see if we change that to, I'll do it over here. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's not exactly what we wanted at this point. So, excuse me. No, I was doing something. Just taking me a second. Okay. Background size. There we go. If we change that to contain. Yeah, it gets me this nice little white space. However, when I go in and do like height pixels, and we can just, yeah, so that's interesting, and it looks a lot clearer, and I'm into what it's doing, and it scales very nicely. However, my text is up there, and when I apply padding, it just moves the whole thing down, and it seems like it's not treating it like a background image anymore, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. So maybe some here do this best practice thing would be a good direction at this point. And then that looks like it's switching nicely. So I think maybe the thing with that is it's using the whole width and it's scaling down, but I feel like there should be a happy medium of keeping this section in the middle of the of the screen. All right. The other thing that I had a question about was I changed my widths on my site to be 100%. Main reason I did that was because I wanted these colors to extend the full width of my site, and that seemed like the best way to do that. However, that broke this handy grid that you set up. And Josiah and I looked into it for a while, trying to figure out the best way to select it with the grid, and we were trying to justify the items to be in the center and different things like that. So we couldn't find anything that would really move it. So I'm not sure if there's something weird with the percentages and the grids that I haven't figured out yet, but any direction on those two items would be great, and I can try to resolve those by the end of the week. So I'm excited. It looks like it's getting pretty close to being done. If you're seeing anything else that needs a improvement before the end of the week, let me know. And we'll be looking forward to our other future trip in Cincy.